Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name's Adrian. Today I'm a week on from the UK Games Expo, and I kind of want to talk about my experiences the first time as actually going there as a contributor. I've been going for years, and it's my favourite weekend of the year, and this year I decided to do something different. I thought I'd get a stall, take third-party content for predominantly Shadow Dark, and try and get more books into more people's hands, because one of the issues we have, we're trying to get Shadow Dark out there to the public, is obviously, well, the core rulebook is slightly, well, it's difficult to get hold of currently in this country, but a lot of third-party stuff you've got to get through Drive-Thru RPG. Not everyone's fully aware of the contents of those books. So yeah, that was my plan. Could I go to the UK Games Expo, break even, ideally make a little bit of profit, and what was the impact? Also, I bought a ton of stuff. There's a pile of books here to my left hand side that I still haven't looked at. I've read one. Because of the way my brain works, I have to kind of just go through a book, consume it, then if I like it, I'll review it. But what I want to do towards the end of the video, so this video could end up being quite long, go through all the books, show them on my top-down camera, and let's have a look at what I picked up. But really what I want to do is just sort of start of my experiences. I wasn't really sure what to expect going to the UK Game Expo with a stand. You know, first time person there, you sort of email them, you reserve your stand, pay your deposit, and then later on they get you to pay the difference. One thing they never tell you to do is obviously you need to pay VAT on it. I think my store was something like £400 for buy a 3 meter by 3 meter, which I think seemed really large at the time. I'll talk about that once you put a few tables out and how little space you actually have when you're there. But yeah, the bill came through and it had VAT on it, so that's an extra 20%, or another 20% profit I needed to find from what I was doing. But I sort of take you back. So my idea, I say, was to sell Shadow Dark third-party content at the expo, so to help get them into and discuss it, but also raise awareness for dyslexia, which is obviously the whole point of the channel. Talk about the hobby, talk about dyslexia. So it's kind of what I try to do here on this channel. Can I make a profit? Obviously, break even, key. Profit, better. Does the model work? That means next year I've got an idea. So my first thing I did was obviously contact several third-party content creators, get the agreement. They were happy for me to take their books to the UK Games Expo, and more importantly, we then worked a way of getting the PDFs into people's hands. So everything was paid a couple of days beforehand. One of the problems I had is my emails weren't going in. So I was like, how do you get your stuff in? So I was talking to Dewan, who had been there a few times, and he was like, did you not sign up to have your time when you actually drop your books in and you go and set up the store? And I was like, no. So that was a separate thing. So that isn't done in your, because you have a checklist as you go through it on the, so there's a separate part on the portal, and you get your checklist, and I was completely complete. So I was like, I'm done, nothing to do. Dewan says you need to do this. He also then said a couple of days beforehand, have you got a high-vis jacket? And I was like, no. Well, you need those as well because you need to get in. I'm like, this is the NEC. Surely they've got a bucket load of high-vis jackets for people who don't have one. Nope. If you do not take a high-vis jacket, you're not getting to your, well, you're not even getting into the halls to actually start building. So luckily managed to get a couple of high-vis jackets from a friend, because I know it's only like £5-6 for each one, but it's, you know, everything's adding up. I'm really conscious. Can I get here? Am I going to break even and make a profit? So I then signed up for my time to get into the halls. So that's done between 12:30 and 1:30. Everything's done. Easy. So you get there on the day, so that's the Thursday you're setting up. So obviously you're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The good thing is if you are sort of attending, they do give you a car park for the 4 days, so it's completely free. So that saves you, what, £20 a day. Obviously booking in advance, I think it's about £23 for the 3 days. So if you are just going there, do it on the internet first, because that parking stings. So get in there, so drive in, and you go around the back end. I've never been to this sort of back end of the NEC, which was like really weird. You know, everything's packed in the car. You think you got a lot of space until you start putting boxes in your cars, and then say drive through, and then you come up to the side. They opened up the side shutters, and you stop it, and you go into the hall, and the hall's pretty much empty. It's really bizarre, because I've been to many Comic Cons and, you know, the expo over many years, and it's always full of things and people and stands. And so we then get shown where all you've got is a square. I had a 3 meter by 3 meter square with 2 tables and 3 chairs left outside, and a little bit of tape that tells you where to put it. And you go, that seems quite large. And then you get the tables and you open the tables out and you're like, that's not a lot of space. There really isn't a lot of space. That was the first thing that I really messed up on. I'd worked out I did not have enough space really for the books and everything. And because I took 42 different types of books, because I thought I'll cover a load of ranges, by the time they were out on the table, it looked like a car boot sale. It did not look like a book stand, a bookstall. It wasn't presented well. I hadn't really thought about anything other than that. Then I just thought I'll just put the books out. So my stall was probably the ugliest stall in the whole of the NEC. I did get a banner. Next year, I think I need 2. Because, yeah, you kind of put it at the back. We also asked the guy, are we going to have walls? Because, because if not, you've just got stands left there in a row with tables. And the guy at the doorway went, yeah, they'll come in at night and give us the walls. Which was good, because then you think, well, I don't need to pay for the additional walls. Turned out to be a lie or misinformation. No, if you want walls to surround to wall you off or protect you from the people behind, it's all extra money. Everything here is extra money. It was, but it was really interesting actually, just seeing everything building, and you're looking at you're going around Cubicle 7 stand and things like that. You're going, there is no way that is going to be ready by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. But set it all up, put it all out, walk away, panic that you think people are going to steal your stuff. Other people had took blankets and they put them over their books, so everything was covered over. I had a few books there that I was really concerned where they were going to go. I had 4 copies of Dark Space, which I was convinced was going to be stolen because they were the hardest thing to get there. Which incidentally, everything was still there the next day. There was none of that. There was no worry about. Well, there was worry again, first time person, but yeah, nothing went. So you get there the next day, and I got there for about 8 o'clock. I had Paul with me, and Hamilton were on the stand as well. So we were all sort of just talking. Oh, and my wife was there as well, and you kind of how's this going to work out? What's the day going to be like? We knew in our head, I needed to make X amount. So I'd spent all in about £1,500. So that includes, everything, all the books I bought and everything, because people didn't send me, but I sort of bought them, and then I could basically keep the profits. So comes 9 o'clock, it's weird because it's just quiet. You're sort of talking to other stands, and there's a few people I recognise that had run things on my channel. Say Jim was around the corner, Matt and his friends were there, were from the One Stop role playing books. One thing I need to be wary of is obviously I'm not going to really name drop a lot of people because I'm bound to forget, so I'll be careful as I go through. But they were like, oh, have you got any lozenges for your throat? And I was like, no, I've got plenty of water. I knew I needed water, knew I needed food. So they very kindly gave me this box, which was, I'm going to say this is something, if you are going, make sure you take this, plenty of water, because by about the afternoon of the first day, my throat had gone. But, oh boy, that whole thing at 9 o'clock, you just feel like the rush and the cheer as everyone's allowed in. And then people were actually making a beeline for my stall. It was really bizarre how many people sort of were there at 2 minutes past 9 to say hello, thank me, try to get copies of Dark Space and the books. And it was weird. People wanted to shake my hands. They were thanking me and stuff. And I'm quite a hugger, so I did sort of pre-warn people on my Discord that, if you're going to come and say hello, you're going to get a hug. And it was really, it all sort of relaxed me very quickly, the fact that it was, people were just actually coming to find me to either thank me or buy. We had a lot of people over the days that would take photographs of the sign. We had a few people sniggering, and I don't know whether they were sniggering with sort of nasty intent or whether it was, obviously Dungeons and Dyslexia, the play on the words. I generally don't know where that went, but it came quite clear over the very first day that I'd chosen very poorly what I should have done. So I basically took 4 copies of most things. There's a few things I took 6, and other things I took 10. I took 10 Games Master's Guide for Shadow Dark and 6 Players Guides, because I figured there'd be more games masters out there. And even when I verbalized that to Paul, I realized what a mistake I'd made. You know, it should have been a lot more player's guide than games master's guide, because I always think of everything from a games master's guide. And very quickly, I say Dark Space was sold out. I think within an hour to 2 hours, I was done on Dark Space. I could only get 4 copies. I knew I needed more. I didn't take the Shadow Dark Core rulebook, which was, I don't know whether it was a genuine mistake on my behalf. Zach Goins of Limathron recommended I take at least 40. I was concerned that I was going to get stuck with it, because when we talked on my Discord, most of the people on my Discord said they wouldn't buy it because the new edition is coming, or they've already backed Western Reaches, they wouldn't have bought it. So that's the one thing I don't know. If I bought 20 or 40 copies of the book, would I have made more profit, or would I have made less, because I'd still be stuck with the books? And the way the Arcane Library works, I don't know if you're aware of this, you cannot sell Shadow Dark on the internet. So if I was to basically go on my eBay channel and start selling the books I was left over with, and someone found out it was me and it got back to Kelsey, it would put me in a very, very difficult position. So I took the executive decision by myself to not take any copies. Several people asked me, it was about 10, 15 people asked me for copies of it, so maybe I could have took 20. We'll see what happens with that next year, because I'm definitely going to do it next year, but I definitely do need to really think about the books that I take. You know, I took things like the Shucked Oyster, that I like it, but when people, oh, you know, what's this about? And you're like, it's about a brothel. But you can make it about a pub. People just lost interest, and you're like, this is a dyslexic stall talking about things, and you're talking about brothels. Again, it's, you live and learn, you know. The other thing I really hadn't considered, which was really wonderful, but I really messed up, was the fact that people were coming to the stand because I was dyslexic. They wanted to talk about my experiences, they wanted to get their children into role playing, and they wanted to buy things that I had either written or bought with me specifically for dyslexics and children. And there really wasn't anything there. I was, you know, everything I took was OSR. It was old school in nature. Now, one of the stalls just further up that I'd met, I was talking to a couple on there, and they had this. They talked to me about this, and I was like, I don't really think this is for me. This is Animon Story. So it's like a Digimon, Pokemon type game by Zach here, who's written it. And I was like, it's D6 pull system. I said, they were, you know, telling me it was quite simple. I was like, I'm into old school sort of gaming, so I kind of, you know, you kind of speak to the people up and down your row. So I was taking everybody that wanted, I had teachers come as well to there, and they apparently did quite well out of me and sending stuff their way, which is absolutely great to hear. They actually gave me a shout out on Blue Sky as well, saying that it was one of the highlights of their weekend. So I'm glad I managed to help and actually get some books into other people's hands. We'll have a look at that later on in the video. But I'd say very quickly on, I think within the first day, I'd sold out of several books, which was awkward, because these are the books that I knew I should have took a lot more of. And there was a lot of books there that weren't selling. So Grimm and J. Lazard both sent me some of their books. And sadly, I didn't sell any of them. You know, I sold 2 of J's, none of Grimm's. And I don't think my stand was the right fit for those books. It was odd, because people specifically came for 2 reasons. Well, 3. They either knew me on the channel, so they came to just say hello or pick up some Shadow Dark stuff. They either knew I was doing Shadow Dark, so they came for Shadow Dark, or they came for dyslexic stuff. So when I was trying to talk about this other third-party stuff, it was really difficult. Now, unfortunately, I didn't make anything off either of those. So all those books sadly went back. But it did mean, oddly, so we got to the end of the first day, and I was about £150 off breaking even, and I was like, I'm ecstatic now. I'm really pleased. But then I looked at what I had left, and I'm like, I'm not convinced I'm going to be able to clear a lot of what's in here. Even though Saturday was the busiest day, and everyone talks about Saturday being the busiest day. So, you know, you go home. I was in a panic then. I was like, I'm going to bring back all the books I've got. I'm not going to make any money on the Saturday. And the Saturday morning was dead. And then by about 10 o'clock, people started coming. And everyone picked up stuff, everyone discussed stuff, nobody bought anything. And so I was walking up and down the roads talking to the other stalls, and they were having exactly the same thing. No, it's almost as if everyone was like going round. They had the Saturday to decide, and then by lunchtime it was rammed. The whole stall, the whole of the row was rammed, and people were buying, and you were just like sat and working out, going, do you know what? I'm now well into profit. We're through break even, into profit. I probably should have said I bought my copies of the books that I was run short of to sell on the stand as well. So I ended up clearing my books, which I now need to replace. I was looking for some stuff the other day, and I was like, "Where's that?" And I'd forgotten I'd actually sold it. So I do need to replace certain things. Although I've just realised there's a book over my shoulder, Gallow's Corner, that I haven't got in my stand here because I haven't opened it yet. So we'll open that on camera when we get to it. But yeah, as Saturday went through and we made a profit, more than broke even, I was really running out of stuff. So it was we made the decision then that we were just going to clear out whatever was there and enjoy the Sunday, because the one thing I found hard on the Friday and the Saturday was not being able to actually enjoy the expo. I don't know how people go and do 3 days there and actually miss everything else, because every time I walked away from my stall, I'd come back and then someone had dropped off a business card. They came to see me to talk about role playing and dyslexia in schools. It was amazing for networking. Next year I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to split the stall. I'm going to have the predominantly Shadow Dark stuff, and I think it's going to be exclusively the Shadow Dark, maybe some Borgs, a few so the more obscure Borg type things, but there's definitely going to be a lot of books for younger people, specifically for dyslexia. I've also affiliated with the Dyslexia Association in Coventry, so I'm going to try and get her there. I think that'd be really, really wonderful if her and her husband can come, because even if they only do 1 day, and I think I liked the model that actually happened this year, where I did the Friday and the Saturday stall selling, and then the Sunday I think I'm going to close the stall down again, so I can actually have a proper wander and network and see and shop, because I got a lot out of that Sunday, going around different stalls, talking to different people. And as you see when we start going through the stuff that I bought, now some of it I bought, I'll be honest, a few things were given to me, which was nice, but every time I was offered stuff for free, I was trying to buy things, because most of the things I have here are independent creators. And if you think about someone like Free League, if Free League gives me a free book, or Cubicle 7 give me a free book, it comes out of profit, but I don't think it's going to affect a company anywhere near as much as a small company that's there with 50 books, and that's it. So I was buying them and still giving something back, because I'm not one of those. I don't like. Don't get me wrong. We all have a freebie. Everyone does. But I'm saying that Dewan gave me his book for free, but that's Dewan. And yeah, but overall, it was a fantastic experience. Throat Sweet's definitely water. As I say, I don't know whether we're going to keep the stall going on the Sunday next year, or whether I just keep it set up but have leaflets, or just have other people there and I'll just have extended breaks away, because I missed it. I did actually miss being able to go around for, the Sunday was ace, going and see anything. But overall, it was amazing. The people that came to see me and to thank me for what I did was an incredible feeling. Someone asked me for my autograph, which was 51. Crazy. That was just not crazy as in you're crazy for doing it, but it was so sweet and nice to have that, because it's nice to have some recognition, because I don't get a lot of feedback. You get feedback in notes on videos, but beyond that you don't really get anything else. Obviously you do in your Discord and stuff, but yeah, it was so nice. And Dewan and I were talking about it, and the weird thing is when people came to talk to you like they knew you, but you're like, and because they watch the lives, they comment on the Discord and stuff, but no one really uses their real name. So it's but so everyone that came by, that said hello, that bought, supported, that does support the channel and everything they do, thank you for all of you do. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, all in, I'd say I think the big takeaway for me is I've proved the model. You know, it makes sense. I can put independent creators' stuff in the hands of the UK market and UK role players and make a profit. I just now need to learn from all of my mistakes from this year to make sure that I improve it for next year. So the key things I'm going to look at, I need to be more organized going in. I need to be a lot more disciplined on the books that I take, the amounts that I take, and reduce the different options, the books that I take. Probably need to market a little bit better. I think I did marketing was okay, but you know, I'm going to need a bigger stand. I definitely need more space. I want to have a little bit more. I thought 3x3 was good, a little bit too small in there, I think. I'd say that the pay stuff I used SumUp, the app, which was really brilliant because when people paid, I think they took 0.55, which is quite nice because, you know, credit card companies can take up to 1% or whatever it may be. A lot of people wanted cash, so I took some cash with me. Took way too much cash, didn't need that. Most people were happy to pay on cards, and we had multiple phones with it on, so you could just touch it and go. That worked really well. And also, I need to make sure the store looks nicer. I need to really think about a brand. You know, have some either models or minis or swords or something so it looks nice. But the key thing is, and the big bit that I really did miss was the fact that strangers that didn't know the channel were coming to the stand because they wanted help for their children and something to take away. Now, I either need to definitely have some children-friendly books to have, some leaflets to help, to give out some guides. I need to do something. So that's the big thing. So for everyone that did come, that I had nothing for you, I'm really sorry. I just did not think it through that was going to be in any way anything that anyone was going to come and find me for. So yeah, apologise to everyone that did that, but thank you for finding me. But yeah, that's it. I think, you know, next year I'll do it. Will I do any of the conventions? Someone's asked me if I'll do Dragon Meet. It's one day and it's the wrong side of London for me. I don't really do that many of the conventions. I liked it, and I wish the UK Games Expo was next week and we could do this every other weekend. But yeah, I think, well, I need to recharge my battery. Also, on the Sunday, I got done for speeding going to the NEC. 36 in a 35, well, in a 30. So yeah, they even sent me the thing going 10% plus 2% over that. So 10% in a 30 is 33 plus 2 is 35. 1 mile an hour over. Cost me £93 to go on a speed awareness course. But I can't blame anyone. I was speeding, but you know, I was very tired. And the other thing we're going to do next year is I need to get this done sooner rather than later. Is book hotels, book nearer. So even though I'm 45 minutes away, it's still quite a long way away. It does feel a long way away on that Sunday. So yeah, so that's it. Thanks for everyone that came. I'll see you all next year. So let's have a look at some books, and we're going to start with Dread Knight. Now, obviously, I've read this one, so this is a little bit of a cheat here because I've reviewed it on the channel. So this was by Joan. So he kindly gave me this copy. He came to find me because he sold out of this. I think, I want to say by the Saturday, I think all of his Dread Knights had gone. He had about 140 odd to do, but yeah, this is a solo comic. This is the first of 6 that he's doing. 1 to 3 are out already, but they're available on his, well, you can get them from TTRPG, but they are available also from his website, and he's doing, I think, print on demand for them, or he's doing a big print run. But yeah, you basically play an undead creature, so you are either, you go this sort of zombie, ghost, vampire, or werewolf, and you're technically hunting down the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Was it 3 horsemen of the apocalypse? I'm suddenly doubting death, pestilence, war, famine. That's 4, isn't it? So yeah, I was right first time. You know, and you suddenly start doubting yourself because it's, well, you know, you're looking at, but yeah, he does all the artworks. He's still the right, which, you know, as a dyslexic is it's really good. And yeah, it's a nice system where you're just rolling down, rolling up and down dice. The next one we've got is Dead Air, which Andrew, one of the members of my Discord, and a friend of mine that lives over in Honeybourne gave me. So this one is a game show about a radioactivity. I think you're like Midnight Caller type thing. This game tells you how to make a radio station as successful as possible after a nuclear attack. So yeah, this is quite good actually. I like this. This actually looks like a contract here that you're working through. Let me just bring my microphone over a little bit closer. So you'll need a deck of cards and a pen and paper to play. Ideally, you also want to play. You want to record your program. Your mobile phone's voice note features most definitely enough to handle. Wow. Okay. And then we've got. See, it all looks like it's been scribbled on, but it's not. That's actually part of the work. Now, inside here, that I've lost somewhere. Okay, so we're going to be drawing cards to do stuff. So no dice. Interesting. There should have been, so I'm going to have to contact the creators, because in here there was a slip. Here it is. So that's the QR code to go and get the PDF. So I'll be able to actually show that on the channel, which is really cool. Now, the next two were from people on a stand that were buying me. This is Strang Beorn, which is a Celtic Borg book. So, wow, that's cool. So the only thing is, the page count, it doesn't look it's big, thick paper. 69 pages. Thing is, I can't remember what I paid for this. So, but here we got writing by Sam Tempest, illustrations by Will Tempest, and editing by Kate Ed. So how to use this book. So it was designed as a horror story where players feel vulnerable, lost, and confused. I say it's designed to be used on the Morkborg setting. Actually, a little bit more legible than Morkborg, isn't it? So, which is good to see. So we've got some guides and patrons in here. I am loving the artwork. Clan Beorn, Clan Halagor. Wasn't really sure how to sort of do this video, so because there's only one of these books that I've read so far. I just kind of wanted to have a quick flick through. I thought I might as well do it with you guys here. So that's Beorn again. Beorn again. Isn't that a song? I think that's probably a song. Strang Beorn. And then they actually gave me this for free, which was quite nice. So Frogmen, the tactical espionage amphibians. And I did like the look of this, so I've got a PDF for this as well. So this again, Sam and Will Tempest and Kate Ed, where it looks like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but espionage, spies, etc. So players have 2 actions per turn. So you're going to roll a d12 plus your d12. D12s are the best die. That's quite so. 1 and 2 is a crit fail. 4, 5, 6 is a fail, but gain 1 luck. 7, 8, 9, 10 succeed. 11, 12 critical success. So like headshots for shooting. That's quite cool. That is quite cool. Get to add your skill to it too. So get a little bit of character creation. I wonder what the background is, how they managed to get to sort of amphibian, sort of turtle type things. No. That must be an adventure in there as well. Great looking art. Yeah, so these are missions as well. So it comes, so it's rules like little thing, Scorpus, the new mutant creations. Cool. Like that. I like that. So the one book that I have reviewed and read is Ronin, which is a Morkborg. So this is wow. This is a book that everyone told me that I need to buy, and hopefully you can see just the spot printing on there. That's all indented as well. But this is absolutely stunning inside. Then my review should be up next few weeks, I'm not sure. So it's all edited, ready to go. But I tend to be a few weeks ahead in the way my reviews go, and it just kind of depends on where I kind of want to sort of throw them out. But we've got 10 different character classes, different factions in here, like the Shadow Clan, the Iron Monks here, and we've got the Underworld thing. So this one's quite good because I know what's going on in this book. You've got this wonderful sort of death mechanic that when you die, you will then go and you get try and resurrect yourself. You get to fight this Yomi, and if you win, you get your character back, which is pretty cool. Loads of monsters in here and an adventure. You've got these parrying rules as well, so which makes Borg slightly different, because as opposed to just dodging, you get an opportunity to parry, which is cool. And then I think it was Tom kindly gave me some additional stuff in here. So as well as their dice, we've got this little little adventure here. So the Frozen Tears of the Lady of Snow, an adventure for Ronin. It doesn't actually tell you what it is on the back, and what we do in the adventure. But the balloon it kind of throw me, because it looks, you'll see when we look at the next book, which is Berserkr. So we've got this, it's a little village. Oh, she's actually got stats, which you don't see normally in Borg. She's got a vigor, swiftness, spirit, resilience. Okay, I wonder if that's a playable character. Because here we are, go back here with the Cursed Walk. That's now back to the proper stats for it. We've got here a Great Beast Hunter. Yeah, so that's... Right, this is the one that, because obviously I've looked at Ronin, and I deliberately sought these people out because, oh, it's got a ribbon. It's got a ribbon and this blue coloured around. And again, this has got spot printing and all indented for Berserkr, which is Borg, but Nordic inspiration. Very blue. Corpse pillaging. I'm glad they did this with the other one, where we've got all the contents right at the start, which is good, because it does make it a little bit easier. And Baldur is dead. We'll talk about the gods in here. Odin, Loki, the 9 realms, the 9 Norse realms here. Wow, look at that. Artwork there for Midgard, different weather tables, random encounters. These are character classes then? No, these aren't yet, is it? This is still more about the world in here. Oh, each of the area. This is it. Okay, each of the areas, looking at it, has its own monsters and creatures in here. Wow. I did look at a little bit of this because someone on my Discord said, have you seen the artwork for Freya? Which, yeah, it's details about Ragnarok. So that's going to be the end. And I'll see if I can show you this. So we've got like Heimdall here, 2-page art. Then we've got Freya. It's a very, very beautiful book, laid out book. So this will be coming. This is probably going to be, out of everything I picked up, the very next thing that I look at for reviewing. And we've got Tales of the Masterless, which is a Ronin adventure. I've got them in slightly wrong order, but that doesn't matter. Sure you won't hold that against me. So what we've got here, this supplement is about the struggle and solitary fight. Is this the solo rules one? Yeah, rules for solo play for Ronin. Ah, cool. See, that's why that was thrown into my hands. Because this is loads of tables, loads of extra creatures and monsters. Oh, dungeon rules as well. That's good to see. Got an adventure then. Zine for Berserkr. Amazing that all this is done by the same company. Oh, Yggdrasil. What's that? The father of Odin, Borg. Okay. Eating contest. Cool. Make a guile test, DC 12. Study Odin and Loki. Details of Nifel. Okay, that's cool. Starting to run out of space already. What's this? A weapon guide here for Berserkr. So more weapons. So Nordic actual weapons with some special abilities. Oh, and quest hooks to go and find them. That's quite cool. So there we go. This is down south desert bleeding wounds. Enemies struck by it take 1 damage at the start of every round from bleeding until treated or healed. And Nord's harpoon. So D8 plus 2. That's pretty big. And on a hit you can test might or DR 14 to pull the enemy closer. A bit like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. And we got some loads of extra armor and then some bonus things. Okay, so I need to change the order here slightly. So let's just look at, let's look at this Animon Story. So this was the one where I sent a lot of people to because it looked a little bit, well, it's designed for sort of 12-year-olds and up. So you are going to be having your own little creatures, like your own Pokemon, Digimon creatures. And in the end, I went back on the Sunday and I was like, you know what, let's take a copy of this. I've only got one child left that's at home that might be interested because my 16-year-old son isn't. So my 15-year-old daughter might. But again, I think, you know, if I can put a few of these on the table for next year at the expo, then, you know, it's what I'm looking for now. I'm spending the next 12 months looking for kid-friendly, dyslexic-friendly games and, well, books to actually have on the table. So, yeah, oh, look free. And this is a D6 dice ball system, which most households will have. You know, if you're doing something quirky with a D12 or something like that, a lot of people aren't going to have D12s. Where D6s, you get these little classification creatures. Kind of bizarre. Okay, creatures can evolve. That's good to see. So you got fledgling, basic, super, ultra, and then giga. I know very little about Pokemon. Can't even play the card game. The cards, that's just too small. But this is nice. I like the fact, you know, again, kid-friendly stuff. Different colours here that are just showing the different sections of the book. Here we've got the bestiaries at the back as well. So yeah, that's really cool. And they did this special thing because they were next to the guy selling this, which is Break. And so they actually did this combined book, which is for Break and Animon Story, which, you know, is, again, this was an expo exclusive, an adventure and scenario that is compatible across the two books, which I thought was a really, really good idea. So I need to look into both of these. So yeah, so that you're not going to be able to see, get that anywhere, I don't think. Maybe, you know, might get lucky on the internet. And then Break. This is the only thing I was truly given for free because the guy refused to take any money off me. He kind of just shoved it in my hand, and I tried to pay for it, but he wasn't having any of it. And I think this won awards last year, didn't it? This is very much a anime type thing, so it's going to sort of be up there with Fabula Ultima in direct competition to that sort of Japanese JRPG type scenario. But I don't know anything about it. I know there's a recent or a current Kickstarter for it. But this is cool because it's got a ribbon. But I like, again, it's that blue writing, so just like the Berserkr. This is thick. You know, 471 pages. That's going to be a meaty read. I am still waiting for the PDF for this, because, you know, that's obviously the way I review things. You don't tend to see larger build people in stuff, which is quite refreshing. But I like the art. I like the style. I like the layout. It's very clean and nice. So that's Break. We'll do this now, which is the One Ring. So kind of frustrated with Free League over this because I picked this up there. This is the latest one, Hands of the White Worm, the White Wizard, sorry, which is all about Saruman. And I'm still waiting for the PDF copy, despite 2 emails. Now, if I just waited a week longer, I could have got it from Dungeonland, £6 cheaper to save myself some money, and I'd already had the PDF by now. So yeah, I need to sort of keep hassling Free League because obviously I can't review this off the book. I don't like reviewing them, doing reviews this way. I like people to see specifically what's going on. So this is going to give you details of Isengard, what's going on in Isengard, the background to Saruman. Again, as you'd imagine from Free League and the One Ring, great artwork, great layout, feels amazing in your hand. Incidentally, I don't know the numbers, but the 5th edition version of this was still there, and they'd sold out of the One Ring version by Saturday afternoon. So either it's more popular, or they took more, you know, Lord of the Rings 5th edition books with them. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I don't really know any contacts at Free League. They occasionally send me stuff for free, but I still keep buying it because I just love it. I I just love the book, the system, the lore, the fit, the layout, the feel. It's just absolutely amazing. Keep up the amazing work, Free League, but send out your bloody PDF. That's all I ask. That is all I ask. Okay, the next three are all connected. So that's not Afterburner, is it? That's the expansion. Now this is Orbital Blues by is it Selene, Clark and Cox, which is very much, it was kind of sold to me as like a Firefly type game, you know, role-playing game for sad space cowboys. I don't know why they're sad, you know. I'm going to make them happy because I like to make all my gaming experiences happy around the table. Oh, that's nice to see. So what's better than one ribbon? 2 ribbons as well. So yeah, you're going to be running your own ship, and you can kind of do your crew and your concept however you like. This just feels like it's got that sort of 70s advert sort of layout design. You know how was it things like RoboCop in the 80s did those sort of like adverts in and around the films. So we've got some sort of feats here looking at it. Don't know the system. I don't know where the system is. But yeah, that's meant to be good. Dewin is selected this for the critical miss spell review. So this is on the wheel for that, which is why I picked it up. You know, I was just talking to the guys there, and they were like, you know, talking, and it sounded amazing. And then they've got this first expansion here, Afterburn, which it's got Starship Manual, Storyteller's Guide, and an adventure in here as well. And then they convinced me that, you know, I like my solos. So here's the Orbital Blues, The Wanderer solo rules for all of this. Which, you know, this is just like a kind of teaser of future reviews, isn't it? Because you know that if it's here, at some stage, I will get round to it. James Raggy Edwards was here, and obviously, if you're a fan of the channel, you'll be fully aware that he sent me a huge amount of his Lamentations, The Flame Princess. So when I saw him, so I met him last year, but it was just a nod because I didn't really know him, if you know what I mean. And I was like, okay, so you sent me a load of stuff. What don't I have? Because I need to buy things that I don't have. So yeah, this is what I picked up, and this is amazing. So this is like faux leather. He does this stuff with the plastic back, which I don't quite get. But this is Staffortonshire Trading Company works of John Williams. So it's got this map of Europe, and then this is, I say just, so this is John Benjamin Williams from 1674, and it's a map and journal of different areas and different buildings that he's gone around that you can even just throw in. So you've got like Dudley Castle, which is actually, Dudley Castle looks like that because there's a Dudley Bug Ball is right next to the castle. Well, it used to be, it's moved now. Oh, 2 ribbons. The quality of James's stuff and books are utterly amazing. This just feels so nice. It actually feels like an older sort of ancient tome from like the 1600s. It's like a monastery type villa with the open courtyards. Mausoleum complex. This is, what is that? Persian mosque in Persia. That's really handy. That is so handy. Obviously, the only downside is obviously remembering when you read stuff like this of exactly what's in there, because you know, because as a games master, we have all these wonderful tools, but you can't always remember. He then, after I paid for that, he then threw a load of other stuff at me. So we've got the Phantasmus Sisk, which is, oh, what's this? So it's a mini little adventure. Okay, fold out adventure. We've got Eat the Rich, which is, oh, okay, another little adventure here for Lamentations of the Flame Princess by Tabby L. Rose. The Floating Tower from Atlantis. I like Atlantis settings. So some random encounters. Very short. It's weird just picking up like little tiny, what's this, 7-8 pages? 7 pages in a little adventure as well. So that's quite cool. More Than Meets the Eye. That's very Transformers, isn't it? By Calvin Smith. Because it's, oh, it's, yeah, we've got aliens in here. Hastings Manor. Nicely set in the UK, probably. And then finally, it's got a name on it. Two men and a hole. Probably could something more than that. The wager. I don't know. What is it? Why don't people put names on books? That's just weird. Well, there's a hole. That's a well, isn't it? And then you've got dead bodies in there. So that's quite a thick. Again, the quality is. That's what 62, 63 page adventure in there. Okay, so we're getting towards the bottom now. So just found this. So Blood in the Ice, which is solo rules for Berserkr, which I didn't know I had. I'd missed this somehow, which is cool. So I can play Berserkr and Ronin. Probably should chase them up for PDF copies if they've got some. That would be really quite handy to sort of show that. And I could do a double header. My friend Stu Goff, who wrote Aegean, came and found me and thanked me for my reviews. And then he gave me this. So when I interviewed him, he told me he was working on a Robin Hood version of it. And this is his quick start sort of rules that are coming at some stage. And this is just a little adventure. It comes with some characters as well. So all the background. D10 dice pool system pretty much feels like the World of Darkness. It's got all the maps and an adventure out. I did sneakily start reading this one because I love Stu's work and Robin Hood type inspired things. So yeah, that was quite quick to get in to have a look at. So yeah, need to run this with my face-to-face group. That's going to be the best way of doing it. So here we go, characteristics plus skills, D10 dice pools, chucking them, 6s and 7s, trying to get successes. So yeah, that's quite cool. Very excited for that. I was then given this, so Killer Crips 3000, which it's not going to quite open how I want it to, so I'm going to be very careful of this. So this is a disability action collective. So this is a role-playing game about playing disabled people, which I didn't even know existed. So yeah, it's very nicely given this copy. A guy, he just came to the stand and he went, "I've got this. I want to give this to you." So it's built using the Havoc engine for Roon Rook Deckard, which I think isn't that dice pool systems? Is it? Yeah, 10d6. That's it. So yeah, dice pools are cool. But yeah, I don't know anything about this. I've never heard of it. It seems like a very sort of independent publishing. Character classes, which to pick. I wonder how it deals with that then. Okay, so we've got wheelie, floaty, sticky, friendly, clicky, venti, or normie. So wheelie is, imagine they've got a combat mobility vehicle for ramming. Floaty, a hovering vehicle. Sticky, sneaky rogues, close combat specialist with a walking stick. I like the fact it's going to deal with a difficult subject, and I say difficult in the a nice way, if that makes sense, but a difficult subject in a tongue-in-cheek fashion. So that's quite cool. Yeah, so they've got a chain gun on their sort of walking chair. That's funny. That is funny. And then finally, well, not quite finally, because I've still got the one book behind me, haven't we? I've got Tale. So this is all the way from Norway. And this was donated to me because I've done a fair few things for this publisher, specifically the Western Reaches books that I did, the sort of West Marches books. That's the one, isn't it? And I again don't know anything about this, but yeah, he was like, it's a let's have a look. Gather your party rival, fight for survival, and travel the world and face your fears. A tale of easy-to-learn fantasy tabletop role-playing game that focuses on compelling story and epic quests. You only need this book, 2 dice, and a pencil to play. Okay, that's quite cool. Character creation, 3-dimensional characters in 30 minutes. Very much feels like a school book. Kind of having flashbacks to college and university here. I think it's just like the paper stock and the way it's there's very minimal art. I have noticed that in this. I'm starting to pick a little bit more art in there. Okay, we then got a couple of things from the guys. But bought some stuff from Pirate Borg, but then Luke very kindly said, "You haven't got any dice, have you?" I didn't take the dice, so I picked the fluorescent glow in the dark dice, which I'll be honest, I've been using these for Pirate Borg for the last week, and they don't roll over 10 very often. Maybe I should be playing them with the light off, but they do look amazing. Like we've got this D2 here, or the 2D20s, which is always handy. 4D6. I wish I'd bought more packs now. Now I've looked at it, there are really good, like looking dice. And the D4, I think it's nice that it's actually a slightly different shape. Not going to get this out, but this is a pack then that came alongside Down Amongst the Dead. So it's all the maps and everything else that you can use. Do you know what? Kind of want to see what's in it, don't we? So we've got some artwork. Are these the artworks and maps? Okay, they are. Okay, cool. So Mikey basically came to the stand and went, "They've got these!" So I just ran to go and get it. Yes, this is double-sided artwork. Let's just get through the art. Oh, nice. I love Luke's art style. It is utterly amazing. I've got the map there of the Dead Isles. All double-sided as well, which is cool. The ship, the Maelstrom from the adventure. Dead Isles. More ships and plans. Charlotte Cove here. Okay. Yes, this is all the map packs. So that means I've got to play this face to face now, doesn't it? I probably should have said there's going to be some mild spoilers as we're looking. Oh, yeah, and big proper. That's going to open up really. Oh, that's huge. If we open that up, which I haven't got the space to open that out. So I think the only thing I've got left to do is this Gallow's Corner, which I was very excited to see this at the UK Games Expo because I was quite upset because I missed this. I picked up the Quick Start rules and I was desperate to back this at Kickstarter, and then somehow I missed it. But look at this. The quality of this. I can't even get it out. So this is the sort of, I don't know if it's the collector, but it's like the all-in pack. So we've got the box there, and then we've got three adventures? 4 adventures, and I think there is a total of 6 coming, and the box is designed to fit those. So this is based at the Peasants' Revolt here in good old England with Wat Tyler and all that, which always fascinated me. That he led this this rebellion against the lords of the land, and then they met up with him and just killed him in a field because it's crazy. But yes, we've got 4 adventures, which, well, it's a 4-part starting adventure, and then this book that, as you can see, it's just, I think I'm going to want to say it's probably linen finished here as well. But it's just nice. It's too nice. That's the problem with it. Luckily I have got the PDF copy. So, but it's like when you look at the artwork and you get into it, and what I do like is they could have easily made this A5 because of the large fonts that they're using, but they didn't. They went all in. Let's make it A4. Let's make it big. Let's play a sex worker, a Nancy, a prostitute. Or a farmer or a fisher or a sex worker. We've got assassins and things in here, so that's cool. That is cool. The art is amazing. I love this. I remember really enjoying the system as well on the Quick Start rules. I can't actually remember what was actually included in the Quick Start rules, but I think you'll agree. There's a ton of stuff. I've got months and months now. Books of I've missed one thing, which is this, which I had to go and grab these, which are these are the Pirate Borg reference guides sheet cards, because, well, I didn't have them, so I don't know what's in here. Let's have a look. So we've got these are, what are these then? These are just items that you can find, aren't they? I was expecting. Oh, okay. Ooh. So we've got arcane rituals in here too. There might be more than 20. That's more than 20. So that's more than just the arcane rituals in the core rulebook. We've then got cards here for rafts, dinghies all the way through, the flutes, galleon. It's the ghost ship that we like, vessel of the deep, and then we've got a load of animals in here. The normal basic animals like your acidic jellyfish and your preen piranhas. So that means the other deck must be more ships, more creatures, yeah, and all the ghost captains. So is it all? Yeah, it's all in the back. That's cool. It's going to make playing it a little bit easier because you can just throw these out. So these are the sea captains, aren't they? The Inquisitors, the sea captain, and the Necromancer. And it's got its crew. Yeah, it has. It's got its crew listed. So on the back, let me just. I'm not very good at this, dealing with this upfront card bit here. But yeah, that's cool that you can throw the creatures. Oh, naval combat rules in here. The ghoul decks. And then different creatures. That's cool. I like that. I do like that. I am impressed with that. Well, I'm impressed with everything I've got here. It was a really good, really good weekend. I'm glad I managed to see as much as I did on the Sunday. And there were a few people, I probably should just quickly say this, that did pop by to see me on the Sunday. And obviously we'd already gone by then. But I wasn't. I was around. But we will be a lot more organised next year. Hopefully some of this has helped anyone that wants to go and set up their own stand and do that. So I if you've got an idea and you want to go, it's the way the NEC works it's a little bit hard. Well, maybe it's because I'm dyslexic and I didn't read all the instructions properly, and I probably could have done with someone else helping me out do it all, but sorted out. We got through. I think, well, I know I had a good time, and we didn't cost us money, which is the most important thing. And hopefully I helped get an awful lot of Shadow Dark and other type books into people's hands. And that's it. I'm going to leave it there, but I'm just going to sort of end with, so you've seen an awful lot of stuff that I've got to review that's coming up. So let me know down in the comments below which books you'd like to see me review first. If you've got any sort of preference, let me know, and I'll try and prioritize those that people want to do, because I want to cover everything that's on here. So I was still waiting for a couple of PDFs, but yeah, I want to get everything covered that's on here. And as ever, if you're enjoying what I'm building, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.